Hi, my name is Dr. Brendan McCarthy. I am the Chief Medical Officer of Protea Medical Center in Tempe, Arizona. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to take a moment out of my day and talk to you a little bit about cholesterol and what is this whole cholesterol thing. And I'll give you a little more of understanding. We all know through the media, like cholesterol is bad, too much cholesterol is bad. Then we know, in the wellness spheres of the internet and in social media that taking cholesterol medicine, blocking medicine is bad for some people. And there's a lot of different opinions out there and it can get confusing. So I want to make this video here just to clarify a few things and be helpful because that's a role of a doctor. And just so you know, the word doctor comes from the Latin word docere, which means to teach. The role of the physician is to educate you about what's happening so that you can make an educated decision. It's essential that as a physician, I give you an unbiased, very clear explanation of things the best that I possibly can so that you feel you're not being pressured in one direction or another. The information I give you should be supported by things you research online. I do encourage my patients to read and research these things. An educated patient is the best patient. So here we are about cholesterol. Little bit snippets here. Just a little bit of information to be helpful. You need cholesterol, part of being alive. This is made from your liver. Cholesterol is responsible, it's the backbone for all your steroid hormones. This is going to be where your cortisol comes from. It's going to be something called androstenedione comes from that. It's going to be testosterone, estradiol. You're going to be getting your progesterone from that. This is one of those important blocks, the building blocks for how your body is going to make the things it needs to make and send the signals it's going to send. So you need it. Where it becomes a problem is because over time in our lives, some of us, we build up too much of it. It gets built up usually due to a lack of fiber in our diet or too many simple carbohydrates. Now, the simple carbohydrate part is a little weird. When you eat too many carbs or you drink soda with high fructose corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup is the devil for triglycerides. But those carbs and that and beer, alcohol, sugar will increase something called triglycerides. Triglycerides become a problem because if they're elevated in the blood, like lipids, like cholesterol, it could lead to plaquing of your arteries. So we do want to include triglycerides in this discussion as well. So cholesterol being the primary building block, you need this. Triglycerides you do need as well. It's part of being healthy, but again, too much is not good. It needs to be in a sweet spot because triglycerides are a part of how your body makes fatty acids, and it's essential for the build of healthy body fat that you do need, like the myelin sheath around your neurons, et cetera. There are reasons why triglycerides should be a part of the equation. So you don't want to get rid of these guys, but they need to be in balance. They need to be in balance. So as you go through life, what happens is your cholesterol, if you don't eat enough fiber or if you eat too many simple carbohydrates, you're going to be stuck with too much either cholesterol or triglycerides in your body. When they're stuck being too high, normally you can handle a certain amount of that. But if there's inflammation in your body, your diet is not great, you're not taking very good care of yourself, not eating enough fruits and vegetables that are with antioxidants, you're going to see this stuff becoming more oxidized and more of a higher risk. One of the things about cholesterol is that, as I mentioned, it makes these hormones. The other thing is that it's the backbone of a lot of neurosteroids in your brain. As a woman, when you have progesterone levels at adequate levels are wonderful. They do wonderful. Progesterone is great throughout your body. It's important for lining the uterus, for healthy breast tissue. It's important. Progesterone crosses the blood-brain barrier and gets converted to 5-allopregnenolone. It still has the cholesterol backbone. And 5-allopregnenolone, which came from progesterone, now in the brain, 5-LOP, is going to bind to your GABA receptors and play a role in preventing anxiety. If I got rid of all cholesterol, you wouldn't have a lot of these neurosteroids as well. You need this. So cholesterol is an essential part of being alive and healthy, and you need this. It's just when it's too high, too much, unsafe. More inflammation in your body, very much unsafe. So we need to be aware of these factors when we're running your labs and we're taking care of you. Say you come to clinic and your LDL cholesterol, let's use that as an example, is very elevated. Say it comes back at 180 for your LDL cholesterol. Optimal for LDL cholesterol is below 99. Normal, below 130. 130 to 100, normal. Okay. I still want optimal, but normal, 100, 130. 130 to 160 is considered borderline. 160 to 190 is considered elevated. 190 or higher is very high. Okay. Those are standards that are established in the States. Say that you come in my office and you're very elevated. You're elevated. Say you're 180. I want to use diet to bring it down. With that said, I still need to think about stabilizing you and bringing it down with a medication because 180 is not safe. So I want to bring that cholesterol down. So I will be using a statin in those cases. Most often we'll use a statin. What is a statin? Statins originated in Chinese medicine, believe it or not, and it was called red rice yeast. So it's red rice has yeast that grows on it. This is a compound that's found in red rice yeast. And what it does is it inhibits the process where your body makes the final step to make cholesterol. So if you take a small amount of this compound, the right amount, it will just slow down your production of cholesterol. That would be the goal of using a statin. We want to slow down the production of cholesterol, not arrest it. We want to control it, bring it down to a level that's safe. While we do that, we want to work on diet and lifestyle to bring the cholesterol down naturally. Once we see their lifestyle and their diet is working, we taper them off the statin. That's the ideal goal of care. When you write the prescription for the statin, you have options as a physician. And I want to make sure you know this. This is very important, this part. You can go in the States, you can go to any health food store and buy red rice yeast off the shelf. And red rice yeast in and of itself has effect. It could be helpful. But it's the problem is it's naturally occurring and it's not standardized. So if you buy it from a supplement company, it may have more active ingredient one time and then less the next time. And it's more variable now. I don't want to play around with these things. I need it precise so you and I know how much to get and how much you need. I don't need something that's going to be high, low, high, low, high, low. I need something precise that we can say for sure, I have you now. You're at 180. I brought you to 120. Now I'm working diet and lifestyle. As I see it go below 120, I can start tapering off the statin if I see it working. So I need to know the statin you're taking is not fluctuating at all because I'm looking at your readings to understand what's happening. If there's fluctuation here, it's going to cause your cholesterol levels to fluctuate. So we can't quite count on that. So over the counter, don't really do personally. What else? You could take the next one, which is the usual one, torvastatin. Everyone takes that. Not great, not great. And the reason why is this very specifically, it is fat soluble. You don't want your statin to be fat soluble. You want it water soluble. Rosuvastatin, that's the one we would use in that case. Rosuvastatin is water soluble, which means it's going to stay in the body. It doesn't go across the blood-brain barrier and go to neural tissue. We don't want the statin up here. We want the statin down here. So we write you rosuvastatin, generally is the one we use, and we write a dose that I know will helpfully bring you to the right level. We run the labs and make sure we're right and we got you the correct level. Bring you down to where the risks is more acceptable. And then we work diet and lifestyle as hard as we can and keep working our diet and running the labs to verify where it is. And as we see things improve, we'll make this shift and have the person moving forward with just diet alone. The whole while, it's important I reiterate this, coenzyme Q10 will become depleted while you take a statin. It just does because that's the biometabolic pathway. It's not just going to stop it's not just slowing down your production of cholesterol. It's also slowing down your production of coenzyme Q10. That comes from your mitochondria as well. As we age, the mitochondria slows down its output. Mitochondria is not as resilient as the other parts of the body. So as your mitochondria makes less and less coenzyme Q10, and I throw a statin in there, now I'm really going to create a deficiency. Coenzyme Q10 is an essential part of making energy inside the cell. It's an important antioxidant as well. You need it. People who take a statin that have the side effects of body aches and pains tend to have very low coenzyme Q10. We run the lab. We prescribe it and we run the lab. We make sure it's safe. We make sure you keep the right amount in your body. I hope this helps. My goal doing these videos will always be being helpful. To the degree that it is, like it. If you think it'll help someone else, share it. If you like the way we're sharing material with you, subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you around the clinic.